You're about to make a $70,000 mistake. And the worst part, the salesman smiling at you right now knows it. The dealership knows it. The manufacturer knows it. And not one of them is going to say a single word. Because the diesel truck you're eyeing, the one with the torque numbers that make your chest tight and the towing capacity that seems almost too good to be true, is quietly becoming the most expensive mistake a truck buyer can make in 2026. This isn't about diesel being bad. Diesel engines are extraordinary. They always have been. This is about what's been built around that engine, the systems, the regulations, the financial machinery designed to keep you paying long after you've driven off the lot. Let's talk about what they're not telling you. The moment you buy a modern diesel truck, you don't just buy an engine, you buy into an ecosystem. A web of emission systems, software dependencies, and regulatory obligations that didn't exist 10 years ago and gets more complex every single year. At the center of that web is DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, a urea-based solution that your truck injects into the exhaust stream to reduce nitrogen oxide emissions. Sounds simple. It isn't. The DEF system, the tank, the injector, the SCR catalyst, the sensors, is one of the most failure-prone components on any modern diesel truck. We're not talking about rare edge cases. We're talking about a known, documented, widespread problem that Ram forced that trigger limp mode, a state where your truck physically will not exceed 5 miles per hour in the middle of nowhere. Catalyst replacements running $3,000 to $6,000 out of warranty. And here's the part that should make you furious. Your truck will not run without a functioning DEF system. That's not a choice. That's federal law baked into the vehicle's software. You get a warning, then a countdown. Then your $70,000 truck becomes a very large, very expensive paperweight. You don't get to limp it home. You don't get to override it. You don't get to call a buddy with a wrench. The truck decides it's done, and it's done. Now ask yourself, who benefits from that? Not you. Not independent mechanics either, because the diagnostic tools required to service modern diesel emission systems are proprietary. Locked behind manufacturer licensing agreements, the same agreements that make your local trusted shop completely useless when it comes to SCR catalyst resets, DEF injector calibrations, or emissions module reprogramming. The only people with the tools are the dealers, and dealers know it. Labor rates for diesel emissions work at franchise dealerships average between $180 and $250 per hour depending on your region. Diagnostic fees alone can run $400 before a single part is touched. A full DEF system overhaul, injector, tank sensor, NOx sensors, SCR flush, can land between $4,000 and $9,000. On a truck you're still making payments on. This isn't a repair network. It's a captive revenue system, and you signed yourself into it the moment you took delivery. And it's getting worse, not better. The EPA's Phase 3. Heavy-duty emission standards, currently being phased in through 2027, are going to force manufacturers to add even more complexity to diesel emissions architecture, more sensors, more injectors, more software checkpoints, more proprietary systems requiring dealer-level tools to service. Every layer of compliance adds another layer of potential failure, another thing that can go wrong at 90,000 miles, another thing that voids a warranty clause, another thing that only one repair network can legally and technically address. The truck is getting more powerful on paper and more fragile in practice. Here's the breaking point nobody wants to say out loud. The diesel truck, as a symbol of durability, reliability, and long-term ownership value, is over. Not because diesel is dead, but because the modern diesel truck has been engineered into a subscription to a system that charges you when it breaks, controls when it runs, and keeps you dependent on a dealer network that has zero competition and zero incentive to be fair. The guys who swore by their 2004 Duramax or their 2008 6.7 Cummins, they were right. Those trucks were incredible, built to be fixed, built to last, built by people who understood that durability was the value proposition. The 2026 version of those trucks shares a name. That's about all it shares. So what do smart buyers do? The ones who still want diesel, because the torque is real, the towing is real, the capability is real. They've figured out what I call the pre-compliance window, and it's closing fast. The move is this. You buy a certified low-mileage diesel from the 2015 to 2019 model window, before the most aggressive emissions architecture was mandated, before the SCR systems reached full complexity, before the software lockouts became total. You get the power, you get the towing, you get a truck that an independent diesel specialist can actually work on without a $40,000 OEM diagnostic suite. You source a pre-purchase inspection from a certified diesel independent shop, not the dealer, and you specifically test the DEF injector, the NOx sensor readings, and the SCR catalyst efficiency. That inspection costs you $150 to $300. It can save you $6,000. You then establish a relationship with one of the growing number of independent diesel shops building their own emissions, compliance workaround protocols, legal in most commercial and off-road classifications, and increasingly relevant as right-to-repair legislation moves through more states. You don't buy the liability, you buy the capability. Smart truck owners already know this. The ones who've been doing this for years don't show up at dealerships anymore. They know the game, they know the margin, they know that the sticker price is just the beginning of what the system wants to extract from you. The question is whether you're going to learn it before or after you're sitting in a dealership service lounge waiting for a $5,000 DEF repair estimate on a truck you've owned for 3 years. And diesel is just the beginning. Because what's happening to emission systems today, it's already being blueprinted for every other major truck system. The transmission, the suspension, the towing assist network. The ownership model is changing, and in the next video we're going to show you exactly how deep that goes and which truck systems are next to be locked behind the dealer wall forever.